Hello, everyone. I'm Annie,
And I'm Isaac,
and welcome to the AI React podcast.
where we react to, well, pretty much everything and anything.
Exactly. And today, we've got a track that honestly gets stuck in your head like nothing else. We're doing a deep dive into M.I.A.'s Paper Planes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's one of those songs you hear once and that chorus just loops.
Totally. But is it just a catchy tune or is there more going on? We're going to explore the lyrics, where it came from, maybe some different interpretation.
For sure. It's got this really upbeat feel, but then, you listen closer.
Okay, so let's imagine we just heard that bit.
Sure.
Imitates beat. All I want to do is imitates gunshot, cash register, and take your money.
Right. That iconic sound.
So first reactions, for me, it's just, wow, pure energy. That beat is infectious. Her delivery is so cool. What's your immediate gut feeling?
Well, my first thought, especially looking at some stuff online, like on Genius, where people really break it down, it's the contrast. They call it a deceptively airy beat. And it really is. It sounds light, almost breezy.
Yeah, it does.
But then the lyrics, they seem to hint at something heavier. So does that catchiness make the message stronger, sneaking it in, or does it maybe, distract from it? That's what I wonder.
That's a good question. Are we just dancing along and missing the point? Maybe. Let's look at that first verse. She says, I fly like paper, get high like planes. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name.
Right?
If you come around here, I make them all day. I get one done in a second if you wait. So fly like paper, maybe fragile, but high like planes, like freedom. What do you think?
I get the fragility versus freedom thing, but looking at interpretations, many point to paper meaning documents, maybe fake ones,
Oh, okay.
and planes is, well, literally crossing borders, maybe not always, strictly legally.
Yeah.
That line, I got visas in my name, but then I make them all day. That really feeds into that idea, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It suggests this sort of navigating the system or maybe operating outside it.
Exactly. Resourcefulness, perhaps.
Yeah.
Born out of necessity.
Resourcefulness, yeah. But it also sounds a bit, I don't know, shady.
Yeah.
Is she just gaming the system or is she forced into it? Make them all day sounds almost like a boast.
Well, maybe it's both. That ambiguity feels intentional. And she goes on. Sometimes I think sitting on trains, every stop I get to, I'm clocking that game.
Clocking that game. I like that phrase.
Anyone's a winner. We're making our fame. Bona fide hustler, making my name. It speaks to that constant movement, always watching, always assessing.
It really paints a picture of survival, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Trying to get ahead, figuring out the rules, maybe bending them. But everyone's a winner. That sounds kind of cynical to me, almost sarcastic.
Yeah, maybe the game's rigged, right? But everyone's playing anyway, trying to build something for themselves. The hustler here isn't necessarily bad. It's about agency, finding your way.
Okay, that makes sense. But then that chorus hits you.
Bam.
Because all I want to do is imitate sounds again and take your money. It's just so blunt after the more metaphorical verses.
It is jarring, isn't it?
Yeah.
My first reaction is just like, whoa, that's direct. Is she serious? Is it purely for shock value?
Right. Is it just about robbery?
Well, here's an interesting take I saw from NPR, actually. They called it a gloriously acerbic flip on Rex NFX Rump Shaker, positing that nothing's more thuggish than Western capitalist expansion.
Whoa, hold on. So not literal robbery,
Not necessarily. Maybe it's a metaphor.
but global economics.
Yeah.
Big companies maybe exploiting resources or something, taking money on a massive scale.
Could be. It frames the thuggishness not on the street level, but maybe at a corporate or governmental level.
That's a much bigger interpretation. I mean, it fits the acerbic description, but wow, it feels a bit academic maybe for such a raw-sounding chorus.
But maybe that's the point. The contrast grabs you. It pulls you in with a beat, then confronts you with this potentially sharp critique. Think about the next verse, too. Pirate skulls and bones, sticks and stones, and weed and bongs.
Yeah, the imagery definitely gets darker there, more rebellious.
Running when we hit them, lethal poison for the system.
Lethal poison for the system. Okay, that's not subtle at all. That's straight up defiance. Genius links this to ideas of tourist murdering, passport counterfeiting thieves. It sounds pretty extreme.
It does sound extreme, but pirate skulls and bones,
Yeah.
that's classic outlaw imagery, right? Operating outside the rules. And you mix in modern stuff like weed and bongs.
Yeah.
It's a blend of rebellion archetypes.
And then she switches it up again. No one on the corner has swagger like us. Hit me on my burner prepaid wireless.
Confidence, right?
Totally. We pack and deliver like UPS trucks already going hard, just pumping that gas. even in this, like, underground world she's describing, there's this undeniable swagger.
Exactly. The burner phone, the comparison to UPS trucks,
Mhm.
it suggests an operation that's maybe illicit, but it's organized. It's efficient.
Yeah, like, we might be outside the law, but we're good at what we do.
Precisely. There's pride in that efficiency and that swagger.
And then that bridge. Bam! M.I.A. Third world democracy. Yeah, I've got more records than the KGB. So, no funny business. Just claiming her identity, her power.
That third world democracy line is so loaded, especially given M.I.A.'s own background. Her family fleeing Sri Lanka. It's a direct political statement.
Mm-hmm.
And more records than the KGB. Obviously not vinyl records, right?
Right. Yeah, probably not.
It's got to be about information, influence, experience.
Mm.
Like, her lived reality and her art hold more truth or power than some state surveillance apparatus. It's a challenge to authority.
It's like saying her voice matters more than their secrets. Wow. Okay, so where did this all come from? Our notes say it was on the deluxe edition of her album Kala, August 2007.
Right, the Pendleton track. And crucially, it samples the Clash's Straight to Hell.
Ugh, the Clash. Okay, that makes sense. They were super political, too.
Absolutely. So there's a kind of lineage there, a shared spirit of commentary and maybe rebellion.
And then it just exploded, didn't it, after being in the trailer for Pineapple Express?
Yeah, and the Slumdog Millionaire soundtrack, too.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild when you think about the potential meanings we've been discussing. This complex, potentially subversive song becomes this massive mainstream hit.
It really shows how music can work on different levels, doesn't it? You can just enjoy the beat, or you can dig into all this stuff.
For sure. And speaking of layers, there's that quote from M.I.A. herself about the gunshots. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, read that. It's powerful. She said, if you're an immigrant, you left somewhere, and most of the time you fled a war. Gun sounds are a part of our culture as an everyday thing.
I've been shot at, so I'm quite comfortable with gunshot sounds.
Wow. Hearing that completely reframes those sounds, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They're not just cool effects.
Not at all. It roots the song in lived experience. Real, potentially traumatic experience. It adds this whole other dimension of authenticity and maybe even commentary on what becomes normalized for people in certain situations.
Yeah, it makes the track feel even more real, despite the swagger and the beat.
Definitely.
So, Paper Planes? Yeah, way more than just a catchy song. It seems like it could be about the immigrant hustle, global inequality, personal history, defiance. Maybe all of it at once.
Exactly. It's complex, it's layered, it's deliberately ambiguous in places, I think.
Mm-hmm.
M.I.A. created something that's incredibly infectious, but also really makes you think, makes you question. It challenges you.
It absolutely does. A truly fascinating track to unpack.
For sure. Lots to chew on there.
And as always, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. The podcast sponsor is in the description below, so go and check them out. Thanks.